Hello everyone. I hope you had a memorable New Year celebration and you must be having questions that where is yesterday's videos. Apologies, I was a bit busy yesterday, couldn't do the video for the daily lead code question, but to surprise you guys, we have already solved that question in the month of December 2020. The video is already available on YouTube. Although I am a little raw in that video, but you can give it a shot if you want to have a look at the solution. Without much ado, let's quickly talk about today's question. Pair of songs with total duration divisible by 60. Here in this question, we are given an array that represents the duration of each song that is given to us. We need to identify those pairs of songs in which the total duration in seconds is divisible by 60. So we need to identify and return the number of such pair count that exists in this input array. Seems pretty easy and simple in the first go. However, there is a small trick to it. I'll be talking about that trick in the presentation. So let's quickly move on to the PPT. Pair of songs with total duration divisible by 60, lead code 1010. It's a medium level question on lead code and I totally feel the same. So we will be solving this question by two approaches. Let's talk about the naive approach that comes to everybody's mind when they read this question. So here in this question, we are given an array of songs wherein each element represents the duration of each song. We need to identify the pair of songs AB such that A plus B modulus 60 turns out to be equal to 0. So the naive and the basic approach that comes to everybody's mind is sort this input array and then use two loops, one iterating from I equals to 0 up till I less than length, other one iterating from j equals to I plus 1 because we don't want to repeat the solutions that we have found out, j less than equal to length, and if my array of ith element plus jth element turns out to be divisible by 60, then I found one possibility. If this condition is met, then I found out one possibility and increment my global answer variable. Pretty simple and straightforward. I must think that all of you should be able to come up with this naive approach at least. And in the end, we simply return the answer global variable. However, this will lead to TLE. Now comes the question, how are we going to solve this up? Is there any alternate approach? Let's go back to the question and let's try to extract the hints out of it. So let's go back, and there were few constraints that were specified in the question which we usually tend to ignore. The constraints are highly important as in this question. So I would suggest you guys to always go through the entire question properly. Here it was specified that the time duration always lies between 1 to 500. We can exploit this to our advantage. How? Let's first walk through the other solution. Let me ask you a very simple question. If we divide any number by 60, what are the possible values of remainders? The remainder will lie in the range of 0 to 59, and we will be using this information to our advantage. What I'm going to do, I'll create a frequency array of size 60 starting from 0 up till 59, and we'll divide each element that is given to us in the input array by 60, and we'll identify the remainder, we'll increment its frequency in the frequency map. So let's walk through it and I'll talk about how can we use this frequency map to our advantage. So the first element is 30. Right now the frequencies of all element is initially set to 0. We saw 30. We find out the modulus by 60. We get 30. So we increment the frequency of 30 to 1. Next we see 20. 20 gets incremented to 1. Next we see 150. When I divide 150 by 60, what is the remainder that do I get? I get 30 back. So let's increment the frequency of 30 to 2. Let's see 100. 100 modulus 60 gives us 40. So let's increment the frequency of 40 to 1. And next we see again 40. So let's update the frequency to 2. So in the end, what do we have? We have all the elements set to 0. Apart from, we have 20, at 20 we have 1. At 30 we have 2. At 40 we have 2. And at 59, at the rest of the elements, it's all 0. I mistakenly wrote 1 here, ignore it. And now let's walk through this frequency map to actually build the algorithm. Let me again ask you guys a very simple question. Let's hypothetically assume that there are n elements that are leading to a remainder of 20 and there are m elements that are leading to a remainder of 40. Then what we can do, if we want to identify the number of total pairs that exist in this input map. Using this information, how can we use that? We can pick one element from the 20th frequency, and we can pick one element from the 40th frequency, because we are sure that any combination of these two elements will lead to a sum of 60. So what I'm eventually trying to say, I'll pick up one element from n out of the n lot and one element out of the m lot. So nc1 into mc1. And if I simplify this expression, what do I get? nc1 is nothing but n and mc1 is nothing but m. So this corresponds to the number of elements with 20 as remainder. This corresponds to the number of elements at 40 as remainder. If you have understood this logic, then you have understood 90% of the algorithm. Let's talk about the other two corner cases that we need to take care of. Let's talk about all those elements where the frequency is coming out to be 0. That means all the elements under this lot are divisible by 60. So let's assume its frequency is k. And if someone asks you how many pairs that are there that exist out of this lot where you can say a plus b modulus 60 turns out to be 0, the answer is simple. You simply say kc2. You need to pull out two elements out of this k lot. Similarly, let's talk about the case where the remainder is coming out to be 30. So let's assume its frequency is p. The number of such elements that exist in this frequency map is p, and we need to simply pull out two elements out of this lot so that the overall remainder gets nullified to 0. Remainder of 30 plus remainder of 30 modulus 60 leads to a remainder of 0. That means any two elements that are picked out of these p elements will lead to a total remainder of 0. Let's conclude and let's quickly move on to the coding section, where I'll simply talk about adding these three test cases up. So the first approach is pretty simple and straightforward. I sorted the input array and I used two loops. It led to a TLE kind of a situation. Then I had to think of something better than this. And here I have created the remainder frequency map. I iterated through the entire time song, and I extracted each time. I updated the frequency corresponding to the remainder that I got, song time modulus 60, and I incremented by 1 each time I progressed in this input map. Now comes the interesting part. So let's talk about this part first. And we iterate through starting from the first index up till the 30th index. Why are we not going beyond? Because we don't want to repeat a similar kind of a scenario where duplication is happening. For example, we talked about 20,40 case. So we don't want that at 40 we add the result of 20 back. So at 40 the counter value that we will be looking out for is 20. So we don't want to duplicate the answer. That's why we have restricted the I value starting from 1 up till I less than 30. Now comes the case for how are we handling the frequency at the 0th index. So we talked about kc2. kc2 boils down to k into k minus 1 by 2. We know this from the combination formula, and this is what I have done here. In case my remainder map frequency at the 0th index turns out to be greater than 0, I simply add it to my answer and I use the same formula, k into k minus 1 by 2. Similarly, a similar kind of a formula will be applied at the 30th element frequency as well. So we will use pc2, p into p minus 1 by 2, and we update the answer by remainder at the 30th index into remainder at the 30th index minus 1 by 2. In the end, we simply return whatever answer we have calculated by all these three iterations. Let's try this up. 99.65%, pretty good there, and similar in terms of memory, although we are not using any extra space. I don't know why is this saying this, but the time complexity of this approach is order of n. You're iterating through the input array once for building your remainder map, and you're iterating through the remainder map a fixed set of times at max 50. So at max 60. and the space complexity here is for building the remainder map of size 60, which is again constant. So this brings me to the end of today's session. I hope you enjoyed it. Also, I hope you guys have seen the yesterday's video about stocks at FANG. There has been a recent notion among the youngsters that FANG companies make you millionaires. Please go and have a look at that video. It's highly valuable. It's okay to miss out on few questions at times you're not feeling good or you're not in a mood of it. But the advice that you're gonna get out of it is $1 million. So please go and have a look at that video and let me know how do you find it.